Wife claimed she was with her sister. The phone buzzed on the counter, its screen glowing in the dim kitchen like a beacon of bad news. I froze, my hand halfway to the whiskey bottle, the air thick with the burnt sugar scent of the pie I'd overbaked. My wife's name flashed, Lila. The message was short. Too short. Staying late with Sarah. Don't wait up. My gut twisted, not because of the words, but because of the lie. Sarah, her sister, was sprawled on my couch 30 minutes ago, laughing at some dumb joke I'd made about her new tattoo. The whiskey bottle felt heavier now, like it was daring me to pour. I stared at the text, my thumb hovering over the reply button. The kitchen clock ticked, each second a hammer against my skull. Lila had been distant for months. Small things, at first. The way she'd linger in the bathroom, her phone screen tilted just out of view. The faint perfume on her scarf, not hers, not mine. I'd chalked it up to stress, to her late shifts at the hospital. But Sarah's voice echoed in my head. Lila's been weird, hasn't she? Like she's hiding something. I'd laughed it off then, but now my chest burned with a mix of dread and fury. I typed, "Okay, love you," and hit send before I could overthink it. The lie of my own words tasted bitter. I grabbed my keys, the metal cold against my palm, and headed for the door. The night was sharp, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. Our street was quiet, the sodium glow of streetlights casting long shadows across the frost-dusted pavement. I drove toward the hospital, telling myself I just needed to see her car in the lot, to prove she was where she said. But deep down, I knew I was chasing something uglier. The hospital parking lot was half empty, the fluorescent lights buzzing like trapped insects. I circled twice, my breath fogging the windshield. No sign of her blue sedan. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles whitening. I called her, the ringtone droning in my ear like a funeral bell. Voicemail. I tried Sarah next, my heart pounding. "Hey," she answered, her voice light, oblivious. "What's up, Matt? Where's Lila?" I asked, sharper than I meant. A pause. She said she was working late. Why? She told me she was with you. The words felt like glass in my throat. Sarah's silence was deafening. Then, softly, "Matt, I haven't seen her since lunch. I was at your place earlier, remember?" I hung up without saying goodbye, my pulse roaring in my ears. The hospital loomed ahead, its glass doors reflecting the night like a dark mirror. I parked and walked inside, the sterile smell of antiseptic hitting me like a slap. The receptionist barely glanced up. "Visiting hours are over," she droned. "I'm looking for Dr. Lila Harper," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "Is she on shift?" The woman tapped at her computer, her nails clicking. Dr. Harper clocked out at 6. 3 hours ago. My stomach dropped, a cold, hollow plunge. I drove to the only other place I could think of, the bar where we'd had our first date, a dive called the Rusty Anchor. It was a long shot, but it was hers, ours, a place she might go if she was unraveling. The neon sign flickered as I pulled up, casting a sickly red glow over the gravel lot. Her car wasn't there either, but I went inside anyway. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and the sour tang of spilled beer. A jukebox wailed in the corner, some country song about heartbreak that felt too on the nose. I scanned the crowd, mostly regulars, their faces worn and familiar. Then I saw her. Not Lila, but her jacket, the green one I'd bought her for Christmas, slung over a booth in the back. My heart lurched. I moved closer, my boots sticking to the floor, and there she was, tucked against someone else. A man, his hand on her thigh, her laugh low and intimate. The kind of laugh she used to give me. I stood there, rooted, my breath shallow. Part of me wanted to storm over, to demand answers, to shatter the moment. But another part, the part that still loved her, wanted to turn back, to pretend I hadn't seen. To keep believing the lie. I watched her lean into him, her fingers brushing his arm, and the room tilted. The whiskey I hadn't drunk burned in my chest anyway. "Lila," I said, my voice cutting through the noise. Her head snapped up, her eyes wide, caught. The man, broad-shouldered, unfamiliar, froze, his hand still on her. The bar seemed to quiet, Or maybe it was just the blood rushing in my ears. "Matt," she whispered, her face paling. "What are you doing here?" "Funny," I said, my voice trembling with rage and something softer, something broken. "You said you were with Sarah. But Sarah was with me." Her mouth opened, then closed, like a fish gasping for air. The man shifted, his jaw tight, but he didn't speak. I wanted him to. I wanted a reason to swing. But Lila stood, her hands shaking as she grabbed her jacket. "Matt, let's talk outside." Outside, the cold bit harder, the wind carrying the faint scent of diesel from the highway. She stood by her car, arms crossed, eyes darting anywhere but at me. "It's not what you think," she started, but the words sounded hollow, rehearsed. "Don't," I cut her off. "Don't lie to me again." My voice cracked, and I hated it. Hated how much I still wanted her to have an excuse, some impossible truth that would make this okay. "Who is he?" She swallowed, tears glinting in her eyes. "His name's David." "His, a colleague." "It's complicated, Matt." "Complicated." I laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. "You're sitting in a bar with his hand on you, and it's complicated." "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said, her voice breaking. "I love you, Matt, I do. But things haven't been right with us. You know that." I did know. The late nights, the silences, the way her touch had gone from warm to perfunctory. But knowing didn't dull the pain. It sharpened it, like a knife twisting in my chest. "So you lied. You let me think." I stopped, my throat tight. "How long?" She looked away, her breath visible in the cold. "A few months." "Months." The word landed like a punch. I thought of every moment I'd rationalized, every doubt I'd buried. The way she'd smiled at her phone, the way she'd started locking her screen. I'd been a fool, clinging to a version of her that didn't exist anymore. "Why?" I asked, quieter now, the anger draining into something worse, grief. "I don't know," she whispered. "I was lonely. You were always working, and I got lost. I wanted to scream that I'd been working for us, for the house, the future we'd planned. But the words stuck, useless. Instead, I asked, "Do you love him?" She hesitated, and that was answer enough. The world blurred, my eyes stinging. I turned to walk away, but her hand caught my arm. "Matt, please. We can fix this." I looked at her, really looked. The woman I'd married, the one I'd promised forever to, was a stranger now. And maybe I was too. "You broke us," I said, pulling free. "You broke me." I drove home in silence, the radio off, the hum of the engine the only sound. Sarah was still there when I walked in, her face pale with worry. "Did you find her?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, my voice flat. "I found her." She didn't ask more, and I didn't tell. I poured that whiskey, finally, and let it burn all the way down. The pie sat cold on the counter, a reminder of the life I thought we had. Tomorrow, I'd start unraveling it, our home, our promises, our lies. But tonight, I just sat in the dark, the weight of her betrayal heavier than the bottle in my hand.